And normally when I submit for it, it pops up right away. I get it right away, but I had to wait for like 2 hours. And then I actually got denied the overtime because I've worked too damn much and will expect to work too much next week. It's an FA legality thing. So that happened. And so now I already canceled everyone. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it.
Damn.
So I'm not going. Where'd you run off to?
I don't know. He might feel about to sleep.
We are live, by the way.
Yeah, that's why I see that.
Oh,
I don't know what changed there for a couple of weeks. I could put comments up, take comments away, put pictures up, whatever. It's like we could both do it, and I could see how many people were watching. Now all I can see is the live icon up there on the upper left. I don't know.
he removed your admin rights.
I know, right?
Yep.
JR, where you at?
So you're back home already, huh?
Yeah, we come back Sunday. We got home about 10 o'clock. She wanted to leave early to get back to the dogs, and Copper's been operated on in the morning. What's up, Benji? He's being neutered in the morning, so we gotta have him at the vet about 8. I think it's 28.
Make sure Lori's the one that takes him, so he will hate her.
I think we're both gonna take him, and then I'll be the one to pick him up.
Make sure she's the one that drops him off right there, because that way he'll remember maybe.
Has Riggs been neutered?
Yes, he has been.
How did he act after he did it? Could you tell a big difference in his behavior?
Well, he was really young when I got him neutered. Maybe 4 months old, 6 months old, somewhere thereabouts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They told me to wait with his breed to wait till he was at least 8 months old.
Really? And hell, he might have been 8 months old. I don't remember, but he was still a dang nutcase. So it's kind of hard to say, honestly.
Well, them dogs.
They say that calms them down some.
Yeah. Well, them dogs. I don't know what kind of dogs is Riggs again.
He's a Weimaraner.
Now, those tall dogs, and I guess because he's got long legs like Copper does.
Yeah.
They said one bad thing is hip dysplasia.
Yes. Yep. That definitely is.
So that's why they said to wait and let his bones develop and everything. Because sometimes neutering them that early could mess with. So they said 8 months. So he'll be 9 months. He'll be let's see. He was 9 months March the 2nd. And he weighs 83 pounds.
Damn.
Well, we know that the state can't enforce laws in federal waters, right? It's fishing regulations, as far as fishing regulations go, right?
Let me tell you, I think Pete knows this whole story. I think I told you, JR, but for everybody watching,
let's wait. Let's wait till we get some more viewers in here. Let the audience build a little bit.
Let it simmer.
Yeah.
I think our last video, because I put it on YouTube as well. Let's see how many views it's got.
How many folks we got? Who's out there? Benji, what's up?
Right now we got 7.
Yeah.
Hey, JR, what has changed on the program? Because used to, I could see how many people were watching. I could add pictures or take pictures away. And, I used to aggravate you. You'd put a picture up and I'd take it down. What happened to that?
I have no idea. I can still do it, obviously, but yeah, I have no idea. I remember you asked me that last week. I haven't done anything.
Like we could both control whatever was going on.
Got 144 views on last week's stream on YouTube.
So tell us about Lake Murray. How did Lake Murray go for you?
Lake Murray was a nightmare. We're gonna change that. We take that trip down there every year, and we're gonna change it. March is just
too much of a transition time.
Yeah, you got those March winds. I mean, there was 40-mile-an-hour wind gust, 20-mile-an-hour sustained, trolling motor wide open, getting pushed backwards. It was just it was unfishable unless you were on anchor. I asked those guys I was with, I was like, y'all want to anchor up and cut bait somewhere? And they were done. We didn't fish very long at all. We wasted a bunch of bait.
Sounds like the tournament that we fished about a month back. That wind damn blew so damn hard. maybe not quite 40 miles an hour, but I'd say a gust of 25. I think it was pretty.
I got a 70-pound thrust, 24-volt, Minn Kota Riptide, and I put it on 10 with good batteries, and yeah, my lines were blowing back the other way. The boards were going back the other way. I had lines in my trolling motor. I had lines in my prop on my outboard. There was no way you could fish it at all. I mean, you could have gas trolled A-rigs, and we actually done that for a little bit and caught one fish doing that.
I was about to say that's another reason why I like trolling so much, because when the wind gets up, you can put her into the wind and do pretty decent sometimes.
Yeah, with your big motor.
Yep.
Yeah, you wasn't gonna do it with
a lot of times. I'll do
motor.
combination. When it gets really bad, I'll do combination of both big motor and troll motor at the same time.
Yeah. I think that we were okay with just doing other stuff.
So what else did y'all do?
Drink.
That's
right. My cousin brought his guitar and we had a fine time.
JR, why did it surprise you so much that I could play a guitar? Did you think I was just totally stupid and couldn't do nothing but catch big fish?
Oh,
catch big fish debatable, but I was kidding.
No, why would you say that? Of course I don't think you're stupid.
No,
I need a rum and Coke refill. Took too damn long. I drank it all.
I guess because I had never seen you, or no one had ever said anything, and you'd never said anything, and you'd probably seen me playing around on one from here and there.
I did.
You just grabbed it and started beating on it. Sounded good. Surprised me.
Even Scott Perry was looking kind of stupid, like, damn, is he really doing that? Have you talked to Scott?
No, I haven't talked to him in a few
I
days.
texted him, ain't heard back.
All right.
What's his name? He's gonna be on the show tonight.
Rusty.
They hadn't got his internet set up at his house yet. He said he thought it'd be on. He texted me earlier and he said he didn't have no internet tonight, so he couldn't come on.
Gotcha. Oh, so who's got a good story other than Wes's story here from last week?
Well, I've been boarded by the Coast Guard out beyond the 3-mile line out in federal waters. It's not any fun.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather deal with the state guys than the federal guys.
I have
considering the federal guys are the Coast Guard.
Yeah. I've been boarded by the Coast Guard at the Gulf Stream many years ago out there trolling. They made us reel our shit up and they boarded us. Not just us, but literally every boat that was there, they boarded all of them. They actually they went in there, I guess their cutter, and they dropped anchor and they came in dinghies to all of us.
Yeah, that's the way they done me. They come up on a Zodiac.
Yep.
It was a little more than a dinghy. It was an inflatable, but it was a very rigid.
Did it have a machine gun in the front?
Had a machine gun in the front.
Hell
yeah. Yeah. Had the inboard turbo diesel. And you were not going to outrun it. I can promise you that.
Yep.
And they weren't very nice either.
For us, they actually were nice, but it was more of a safety check than anything else. Life vest. I think some of the guys were required to have inflatables because it was during bluefin tuna season. So some guys needed those. We were not there for that, so.
At least that's
when they boarded me and Scott, everybody knows the story, push the button, they will come. They were actually super nice. It was a young woman and a young guy that actually boarded the boat, and they
got lucky.
Yeah, I mean we were even kidding around, and I remember I told that guy, I said, "Do me a favor, buddy. I'm gonna turn around, put my hands behind my back," and I said, "Like you're taking me to jail." He said, "You want me to put the cuffs on you?" I said, "No, we're good on that." I said, "Just make it look like y'all were arresting me." I don't know if you remember that picture.
Yeah, I was hoping it was still on here, but I don't see it.
That's fine.
But yeah, they were really nice. And I think the funniest part about that was, the most ironic thing about it was my radio. I had just put a brand new radio on that Grady White, brand new, Pete. Never used it.
Mhm.
We started going offshore. I turned it on. I did a radio check with Coast Guard on 16. Everything was fine. Well, going out, something happened to the radio. I didn't find out till later it blew a fuse. Never found out why it blew that fuse. But so after that happened, and I hit the EPIRB. Of course, you know, when the Coast Guard showed up, I told Scott, I said, damn, I don't know what to do here. I said, I can't tell them nothing. He said, well, it don't matter. He said, they'll be out here in a minute anyway. And sure enough, a few minutes later, he said, look behind you. And I look behind me, and here come the cutter. Do nothing. That son of a bitch was busting waves like 20 foot high. I mean, they were wide open. And anyway, long story short, after they boarded the boat, it dawned on me. I still had a handheld VHF that I had used in Chesapeake Bay the year before. And I pulled it out. I told that lady, I said, ma'am, I just remembered I do have a VHF radio on here. And luckily I did, because if that radio hadn't worked, they could have sent us back in. But they didn't. But anyway, that's just how ironic that was. I could have called them on the radio when they were coming and said, hey, it's not emergency. I accidentally hit the EPIRB, but they would have never had to board my boat.
You know what's funny about those handheld VHF radios is the battery on them lasts forever. Man, I had one in my boat, and the charger base rusted. The prongs rusted, so I couldn't charge it anymore. So it was useless. So I threw it up there, man. A couple of years went by, and I pulled that thing down just to see if it actually still worked. And sure enough, it turned on and worked. I was like, wow, there's some really good batteries on those things.
A funny story. One day I was in Chesapeake Bay years ago. We'll say 2009, back when it was good. Me and some friends were on the boat, and we actually dug out his handheld VHF that he had in his safety bag. And so it's kind of funny because we were out there somewhere pulling eels, some mile marker up there. I forgot what it was. We're by ourselves, and we were actually carrying on a fucking conversation between us two on the VHF. Like, he's in the back of the boat, I'm in the front of the boat. So we're like, hey, Todd, you there? Yeah, Pete, what's up? Man, so we're talking back and forth, talking about wearing them out here, mile marker number 7. Next thing you know, fucking 30 minutes later, here come dang 18 boats.
That's a good idea.
It was hilarious.
Buy 2 VHF radios and
yes, it was. Yeah,
have a blast out on Lake Norman.
We had an absolute blast. Oh yeah.
Y'all didn't get a lot
alcohol
of distortion.
May have been involved, by the way, but yeah.
You didn't get a lot of distortion and whistling from being that close?
No, not at all. Not at all. Zero.
No.
Man.
But we're also kind of ducking down, like behind the windshield, you know, just talking like that. But yeah, good times.
Y'all use VHF on Norman sometimes, don't you, Pete?
I did. I did not this year because I had a wiring issue, and I just didn't care to fix it in time, I guess. But knowing that I'll rewire my boat this summer for sure, it'll take care of that. I'm hoping to get JC to do it, actually. Yeah, we've been talking a little bit, and I got to talk to him again here at some point to fine-tune a better date to get it done. So,
JC
Crowder.
Yeah, you know, the guy that installed your awesome top on your Grady, then turned around and sold it the next day.
Oh no, he spliced my antenna wire for me. He didn't do no installing. You ain't gonna get no work out of him.
No, hold on now. You sure? You sure he didn't help you put that thing on?
Scott did it, didn't he?
Scott did it.
Yeah, I pulled up, and they had just got done when I pulled up.
Yeah, JC just spliced my antenna wire for me.
Gotcha.
But,
I was trying to get there and help Wes.
JR is that guy that shows up late to the party.
Timed it just right.
I mean, I should better late than never. I mean, I did help do something. I can't remember what. But.
Then let me tell you how appreciative Scott Perry is. I come in to fix his ass some ice water, right? And he came in the door behind me, and I said, "Hold on a minute, let me grab you some ice." So I reach up in the freezer and grab an ice tray, and go. And he said, "What the fuck?" He said, "What is that?" He said, "Are you
still
really
has
cracking
those?"
Ice? I was like, "Yeah, what's the big deal?" He said, "Dude, you don't have a fucking ice maker?" I was like, "No, I ain't never really thought a whole lot about it." So anyway, I got an ice maker now. So if Perry ever comes over and helps me, I have an ice maker for him.
Huh.
So here's what happened to me last week.
All right, how many years we got? Who we going with this?
All right, so And I know there's going to be a few people on here that's going to say, well, you should have checked this app. You should have checked that app. First of all, there's like 50 fucking fishing apps out there. Okay. Now I'm leaving, and this is the way I was looking at it, and I'm pretty sure I was wrong, but my boat is ported in South Carolina. I've got a South Carolina fishing license. Okay. You don't have to have a fishing license to fish in federal water. I don't understand that. Why they have regulations on federal, but you don't have to have a fishing license to fish in federal water. I guess they figure because you got to go back across state water. So the first thing I'm going to say with this is, why the hell can't the state and the federal, first of all, agree on regulations? Because when you leave that federal water, you got to go back into state water somewhere unless you've got a fucking helicopter that's going to come in there and pick those fish out of that water for you and take them to land. You've got to come back across that water. So anyway, me and Lori's fishing out. We're out at the Frying Pan Tower. I'm not going to show no numbers tonight.
Damn.
But anyway, we're out at the Frying Pan Tower and, caught some black sea bass. So long story short, we come back in and Pete knows where the shark hole is. I don't know if anybody on here is watching is probably not familiar with the shark hole, but I was about 4 or 5 miles southeast of the shark hole. And me and Lori, we got the radio jamming. I actually did a video of us playing some music, and that's when that was coming back in. And I just happened to look behind me, and this contender's bam, bam, bam with blue lights. I said, oh, shit. And then I seen the side of the boat. I was like, what the hell's DNR doing out here? Well, anyway, I slowed down, and they come over and asked me. They said, have you got any fish on board? And I said, yes, sir. He asked me what I had, and I told him. And he said, hold up the smallest one for me. So I reached in there in the box, and I did. I tried to get the smallest one I could find because I can say this now. Actually, yeah, that's about right, JR. So actually, I was over the limit. I forgot it was 7 a person. I thought it was 10. So that was my mistake, but they didn't catch that. But anyway, so I held one up, and he said, how long is that fish? I said, he's about 12 and a half, maybe a little bit longer. And that's all it took. So they were talking back and forth. So and I did, and I told Lori, I said, baby, she said, well, you invited them to come on board. I said, yes, because when they pulled me over, they were coming on board. They didn't pull us over and put blue lights on us just to stay in their boat. I'm just trying to be nice, So I kept asking them. I said, y'all welcome to board the boat. And they decided to come over. So he gets out. He gets a metal tape measure, aluminum tape measure, puts it at the base right there at my live well, and goes to measure. He measured every fish in there. And they come out. I had 5 black sea bass undersized is what he wrote me the ticket for. So I told him, I said, bud, I said, I looked at the federal regulations online. It said federal water is 12 and a half inches. It don't say no specific area. It says 12 and a half, and it actually said 10 per person. So he said, no, he said federal waters is 12 and a half inches. I meant 13 inches. And I said, well, South Carolina says 12 and a half, and North Carolina says 13. I said, and I'm not fishing out of North Carolina. I said, I'm still in federal water, And I said, so am I going to get a ticket? He said, well, I'm going to write you what's called a JEA boarding form. So I said, what is this? And he said, this will be sent to NOAA. And if anybody don't know what NOAA is, Pete and I, am I wrong? It's the National Oceanic Atmospheric Association.
That's it. Yep.
Okay. So he said, what will happen is somebody from NOAA will get that summons that he wrote me or that ticket, whatever. And he said, honestly, I doubt they'll do anything about it, but they may. So my thing is, and I'm going to read this, and there again, before anybody starts talking, this is what I found. I know people say you can't believe everything you read on Google. So, but this is what I found for federal. This says, and this was October 22nd of 22, and I could not find nothing else updated. The federal possession limit, bag limit in the recreational black sea bass fishery is, 15 fish per person. The federal minimum size is 12.5 inches in total length. The total length does not include the filament / tail extension, whatever that means. So this is what I went by because I was in federal water. And I also went back to say, as far as South Carolina says the black sea bass minimum size limit is 12.5 inches total length. The bag limit, there again, is 15 per person. and open seasons from May 15th through the 21st. This is updated October the 20th. No, I'm sorry, December the 31st of 2022. Okay, so this is what I'm going by. So my question is, why can't the federal, or does anybody know why federal and state can't come together on the same thing? Because say me and Pete's out here fishing in federal water and we go back to North Carolina. It don't matter what federal regulation says because we have to go back into North Carolina water. Or it don't matter what North Carolina says. If you're fishing, they might say, hey, we only require, hey, the size limit is this. But when you're in federal water, if you catch it, then you're breaking a federal law. So some of these things you're breaking the law.
The state extends if there's a gray area, or if the federal law, and correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, but if there isn't a federal regulation on a particular fish, then the state law will extend to federal waters.
Correct. And also at the same time, in some instances, I think the biggest instance here is the red snapper. If the federal law kind of sort of overtakes something and the state does not agree with it, well, the state may have a way of saying, hey, in state waters it's going to be like this, but in federal waters you're going to have it like that. For example, the red snapper, the state has it at whatever inches, but we know damn well you can't catch one in state waters. But that's the way the state's saying, hey,
exactly,
that's the limit here in state waters, period. So the feds have it shut down.
And I think it's National Oceanic Atmospheric
Administration.
Well, I'm sorry, JR. I missed
close enough.
Not association.
Like they say, close enough for government work, right?
Yeah, when he said association, it reminded me of that song, Redneck Bar Association.
And if anybody, I don't know, Pete said, everybody I've talked to, even Keith, said he's never seen this before. Wait till it focuses. But that's the form that they call them the SCDNR-JEA boarding form.
Well, listen.
So you say you kept 10, right?
Huh?
You say you kept 10 per person, right?
Kept what?
You kept 10 fish per person, right?
Yeah, we had 20 fish on there.
Got you. Well, that's not what I heard, because one of them boys that board your boat, they sent me some damn photos of what they confiscated from you. Hot damn, son. Look at that. Boy, God alive.
Damn.
Son of a bitch. I gave him some damn numbers and he for real tried to fish that fucker out. Holy shit.
That's what you call wallering a hole out, buddy.
I know, right? Lori's in there saying, I wish.
That's
what that damn photo was for, by the way.
Yeah, I put that up there earlier to see to make sure it would be in frame and everything. And I fell asleep, and yeah, so it stayed up there.
Wow.
But there again, I mean, I don't really keep a lot of fish, but those black sea bass are really good to eat, and they're fun to catch. You get on
them now, don't they?
Yeah, and when you get on them, just like those numbers I got from Pete. Man, I mean, we caught a fish, Jerry. Every drop, you just bam, bam, bam. You're reeling up. I mean, it's just like nonstop.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Wes.
It's just these regulations with saltwater and freshwater is.
I guess the reason they can't get on the same page and like the federal regulations be, just totally be identical to the state regulations is because once you get in federal waters, like there's no telling which state you came from. Like there's just all kinds of states that you could have came from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I know in the Gulf, the federal waters, the state waters extend 9 miles. And you know how on the Atlantic coast, it's 3 miles. I'm pretty sure it's 9 miles in the Gulf.
So, talking about regulation or anything, Wes, let me tell you this, you may have some experience in this, but I've taken a few little vacations here and there in Florida, and you better be on top of your shit in Florida because like the books over there read in this and this and this county right here, you may keep this many inches.
Yeah.
This in this county, they must be 15 inches, but you can only keep 2. In this county, you can keep one over 21 inches, but only 3 can, so it's in Florida, they have that shit so damn complicated on these fish. It's unreal.
Well, I asked that game board and I said, man, let me ask you a question, brother. And I said, I'm not trying to be a smart ass, but I said, do y'all really keep up with all this stuff, all these regulations of this state and that state? And this? Because I said, there's probably 600 different species of fish out there, or probably 1,000. How do y'all keep with all this stuff? And then, and especially when it changes from season to season, how do y'all keep up with it? They didn't even know what a parrotfish was. That girl, even the DNR, he asked that lady, because he had a lady, he was training a woman, and he said, do you know what kind of fish this is? She don't know. She said,
Yeah, that's a white perch.
yeah, he told her, he said, take a picture of it. He said, take a picture of it and put it to Google. And then it came back parrotfish. And I said, look here, brother. I said, please tell me you ain't fixing to write me a ticket for some exotic ass fish. I said, I thought this was a damn triggerfish. I just thought it might be a king trigger, because I called a queen trigger, just looks just like it, just a different color. I said, it had the same fucked up teeth and mouth.
That's, what's that one movie where the blue people, what is it called? James Cameron directs it.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, that's the kind of fish.
Avatar.
Avatar.
Yeah, that's that Avatar fish.
Yeah.
But
So that was not a parrotfish, by the way. In actuality, I think it's called a wrasse fish. WRASSE. We catch a few of them. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't sound anywhere near as cool as parrotfish.
I know, right? We catch a few of them, but they're a part of the reef.
That was an awesome fish, by the way, guys. You and Lori caught that parrot or wrasse fish. That thing was absolutely exotic.
Fought like hell too.
I guarantee it, and it looked like it had like the same mouth like that triggerfish had.
Yeah, that's why I thought it might be in the triggerfish family.
Yeah. It's got to be.
It's a wrasse fish for sure. So did you fillet that fish, by the way?
No, they said DNR, the guy at Cricket Cove, he said parrotfish are not edible.
Bullshit.
So
if you fillet that fish, you would see that when you fillet them, that meat was blue.
Wow.
It comes out blue. Yeah.
People eat them?
Oh, yeah. They're very good. It's almost like grouper, man. Seriously.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dang, Wes, dadgummit.
That's what damn believe everyone. Damn, what's wrong with you, Wes? No, seriously, they are very good. And when you fillet them out, that meat comes out almost like aqua blue. Seriously.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Well, like I said, I did tell him, I said, well, you can bet your ass I won't keep nothing else. If it ain't a little bit over 13 inches, won't go on my boat no more.
As fast as they were coming up, you should have then kept the bigger ones, threw the small ones back.
DNR, it was DNR, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like, that's the least intimidating government agency that you can imagine. I would much rather DNR, stop me than the Marine Police or the Coast Guard for sure. They just
now, does the Coast Guard?
They're out there monitoring turtles and shit. Like,
I was gonna say, does the Coast Guard? Did they write you tickets for fish too, or did they just write you tickets for vessel violations?
No, they enforce.
They can do both. Yeah, they can absolutely do both. But
yeah,
my experience is the Coast Guard doesn't really care too much about the fish, really.
No, they do. They do. When I got boarded out there out of Virginia, Norfolk, that was the first thing that when they pulled up, they said, "May we board your vessel?" And I said, "Yes," but they never did board. I think when they say board your vessel, I think that means like just come up close to your vessel.
Well, what if you just tell them no? Does that mean that you can go on about your business? You don't want them on
well, these guys, like I said, they have a turret gun, a 50 caliber turret gun on the front of their Zodiac, and there's 6 of them, and each one of them have an M16.
But what I'm saying is, if you just say no, I don't want you to board my boat. Then
I'm not saying any of that.
Well,
I don't know what would happen.
If you did, John, I'm talking hypotheticals here.
I don't know.
Like, say first, let me dump these kilos of cocaine first. And then
oh my God, dude! They'd probably just go ahead and shoot you right there. Yeah. They'd put it on a 3-round burst, and it'd be like,
yeah, I'm trying to send you some photos of a wrasse fish here.
You're trying to send some photos of what?
Well, I'm trying to find it first, and I'll send it to you here momentarily.
But yeah, they asked me. I was doing the talking. We were actually out there trying to catch a freaking striper. That was our trip. That was our first trip out there trying to catch saltwater striper in the ocean. And we were just getting skunked day after day after day. And we were just desperate. And we went out beyond 3 miles. We were out there about 15 miles. They came up to us. They asked us what we were targeting. And I told them fluke.
Wrasse.
And I had read on an internet forum somewhere that just tell them you're targeting fluke. And I was like, you know what? I hope that those guys on the Whole Truth or the Stripers Online, wherever I read that, I hope they're correct, because that's what I'm going with. And they asked me, and I told them fluke, and they bought it.
Well, how can they really prove what you're targeting if you don't have one in possession?
Exactly.
I mean,
they
if
can't.
you're targeting fluke and you got a dang 64-ounce fucking Mojo rig, they might know different.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, most of your kids that are in the Coast Guard, I mean, I know that that's the aquatic version of the military, but you know, do they really know that much about fishing? Let's be honest. Probably not. Because if they did, they probably wouldn't have joined the military. They were like, man, fishing, I'm not giving up fishing to go do that.
Damn River Boy said they do not need a search
They
warrant.
do. See, you can see that. That's a YouTube comment. I didn't think you'd be able to see that.
I see it there as well.
Yep. They do not need a search warrant.
How many
Yeah.
viewers we got, Junior?
Wow, we only have 7 guys. Something's
Really?
going on. Yeah.
Yeah, something's going on with
We normally got like 30 or 40 by now.
So I sent you a photo. You can kind of zoom in on it. You can see 2 different types of wrasse fish there, but they come in several shapes and colors and everything. You might even have that photo already, but it's trying to send, put it that way.
Okay. Yeah. I don't have it yet. Well, so Wes, you're gonna behave and abide by the law from now on, or what?
Man, I'll be honest with you, buddy, and you can ask my wife. When I'm on the water, I've always tried to obey the law and do what's right. I've never played with them. I've never, I was going by what Google says, because everybody said, well, you need this app, you need that. And then as soon as I download that fucking app and get a goddamn ticket, somebody's going to say, well, that's the wrong app. You should have had this app because this changed and that changed. And hey, today's Monday. Oh, shit, that changed. This is Friday right now. That ain't in law no more. I don't even know how them motherfuckers keep up with their own laws. They change them so much.
It's tough, man. It's tough. I'm going to tell you one thing that you got to be careful with out there, in all seriousness. Yes, if you zoom in right there.
You see that blue right there, that blue fish.
There's 2 like side by side right there.
Yeah, but one's got a lot more blue, the bigger one. Yeah. Beautiful.
Now,
fish.
Lori's, the fish, if you look at JR, can you get online and look at when I was holding it up on the boat? Not the one at the cove, but the one out when we were holding, when it was still on the water. That fish was bright ass blue. I mean, he almost had a Tor Hill blue to him.
Yeah, that was beautiful fish, man. Heck, I'd want to go out there just to catch one of those.
Because when he started swimming, I said, I see color, baby. And the way he was turned, at first I just thought it was the blue from the water, because the water, Pete, believe it or not, that water was pretty blue out there at the Frying Pan Tower.
Oh, yeah, I believe
it. It's pretty blue. And when he turned up and got him, I said, I looked at her out. She said, what is that? I said, I don't have a clue what it is.
You know what would be cool, guys, is to go out there on that live bottom in that clear water and drop a GoPro down to the bottom while you're fishing and that get some shots. That would be.
I'm telling you, come June, I'm trying to get pretty serious with this whole bottom fishing thing. And, I had a conversation with someone today about this whole wahoo fishing. And, JR kind of hit this some time ago with catfish and everything. I just ain't got that damn fire in me anymore to go wahoo fishing. Main reason why is because that dang 65-mile boat run. Yeah. I just don't like to do that no more, Mm-hmm. Could I have gone tomorrow? Oh, absolutely I could have. But I just don't have that damn fire to pack my shit and go fishing all day and come back that same day or the very next day and, unpack and go to work the next day. It's fucking tough.
Most cases, though, bottom fishing.
But staying in that 30, 35-mile range and bottom fishing, you can do that too. So I thought about it. But you know what? I can go fishing tomorrow, but let me just wait a month or 2 where I have more options in the same area. So, I'm not wasting time bass no more.
But the good thing about bottom fishing, though, I have found out, Pete, every time I bottom fished last year, and so far this year, which was awesome, the first trip this year, we caught fish. It's almost like if you bottom fish, you're gonna catch fish. I mean,
that is a good question. Damn River Boys asked. He said, I'd like to know how they are exempt from the Constitution. Like, how can they board your vessel without your permission. And
Well, that's why I asked that question. What would happen if you said, no, I'd rather you not board my boat?
yeah, I mean, apparently they can do whatever they want out there.
Well, the federal government's been doing that for years, hasn't they?
So it's like this. It's like, going back to my law enforcement days here, you got to have probable cause to get into anything, and so, not getting too technical, and we could be a little different here with state law, federal laws, whatever. I don't know all that. And a lot of shit's changed, but their probable cause is you were fishing. So now I have probable cause to board your vessel or check your fish. So there's always probable cause out there.
I mean,
Anson told me something, and of course, hindsight's 2020, Pete, and I would have did it if I'd have known. But Anson told me something, and I was kind of lazy because I had to put them in and out. He said, Wes, when you're coming offshore, he said, most of the time, our DNR is by the jetties, or they're right there when you come make that. When you're going in Little River, when you make that hard right turn, they'll be over there by Bird Island. And he said, if you've got fishing rods out, of course, they're taking license or fish, they're targeting boats with fishing rods hanging up.
Yep.
He said, if you take your fishing rods down, put them out of sight when you're coming back in, 9 times out of 10, they will not bother you if they're just looking for fishing violations, because they know 99% of the people that's out there fishing, when they're coming in, they leave their rods in the holder. So when they're coming back in, they can wash them down, spray them out. He said, always hide your rods. So,
yeah. But if you got nothing to worry about, then, you
exactly.
Hide them.
And I didn't think I had nothing to worry about.
Yeah. Yep. Oh,
have you ever had a saltwater ticket?
No, never have. I had a freshwater ticket back when I was like 17 years old. I got ticketed for fishing with expired fishing license.
That's the first ticket I've ever got in my life being on water for anything.
Dang. Yeah, I've been boarded several times. I can't say several. Maybe count on one hand, I guess, that time I've been boarded. In the lakes out here, in NC, we hardly ever see a game warden. I've maybe seen, in my 20 years of fishing the area out here, I have maybe seen the game warden 20 times, but keep in mind, I don't fish around here much during the heat of summer, so July, August, when you get your most pleasure boaters out there and the most police and game wardens, that time of year, that's when you don't see me out there for the most part. But I'd say I've seen the game warden about 20 times. I've actually seen the game warden twice in the last month in Baden Lakes. So he knows me by name now.
When I was fishing, see if it sounds familiar. I don't know if it's different, but the Coast Guard, when I was fishing that striper tournament in New Jersey, me and Chuck, Todd Asher, and Todd's son, and Bob Bowden, the game warden boarded us. We were right there under the Verrazano at the Narrows. You know where the Verrazano Bridge is?
Yeah.
It's called the Verrazano Narrows. They boarded us, and they went through Chuck's stuff, and I remember they asked Chuck, they said, do you have your ticket for it? So when was the last time you were boarded? And Chuck said, I'm not really sure, a couple months, blah, blah, blah. And they said, well, you don't have the boarding certificate? And Chuck said, no. He said, well, you should keep up with that. You should know. You're supposed to keep up with every time the Coast Guard boards you. Have you ever heard that?
I've heard of a sticker that you put up there saying that you've been boarded. Not really the Coast Guard, but like what's the volunteer Coast Guard? What do they call it? You know what I'm talking about? The Coast Guard.
OTC?
Not quite that. A bunch of old farts, usually they'll do a voluntary search of the boat. They put a sticker on your windshield a lot of times. And that actually does hold some weight out there in the water. When they see that sticker, they're like, they got their life vest. They've been checked before by the Coast Guard. Yeah. Not the reserves, but there's some fancy terminology there. Someone that's viewing might know, but yeah.
Interesting. I know if I would have went fishing with Chuck and caught striper in front of the freaking Statue of Liberty, oh my God, I would
was cool, dude.
I would have made a video, man. Oh my God.
So JR, have you ever fished McGuire way back in the day? Back when the striper heyday?
Well, I mean, striper heyday. What are we talking, Pete? 70s, 80s?
Early 2000s. We'll say late 90s, early 2000s.
No, I did not. I was still fishing with a Zebco 33 in the early 2000s.
Oh, hell.
Yep.
Well, apparently that's big enough. That's good enough shit there to catch a 70-pound flathead. So
I didn't get hardcore till 2006, 2007. That's when I'd
say the early
put away the Zebco.
in the early 2000s, I've been checked more McGuire in, I'd say, a 3 or 4 year block than I have
Ooh,
since.
here I do have I have a story about McGuire. I was down fishing Lake Norman. It was back in probably 2011, 12.
Hello, JR, hold a minute.
Yeah.
Tell everybody where McGuire is. I've heard of it, but I
The
don't.
McGuire it's a nuclear station on Lake Norman. It's the hot. They have a hot hole discharge there. It's a nuclear station down
It's
on
in the
the
far south. Far south.
yes. It's on the big pool down at the dam on Lake Norman.
Yeah.
And you can go down there in the summertime. It's like in July and August, and you can get on a suspended catfish bite down there. It used to be a striper bite before the striper killed. Now it's a suspended catfish bite, but you can go down there and get on that suspended catfish bite. But this was I was down there. I think it was before the striper kill. I was down there with the Hydroglow light on, and I was on a small. I wasn't on my boat I have now. I was on another boat I had previously, and they have a cable up there at the dam, and I actually went under the cable and was fishing along that riprap, throwing red fins. I had some live bait out, and I had a security guard. I'm assuming it was just a security guard. I'm not sure, but he shined a spotlight on me and called me by my name. Yeah, called me by my name. He said, Jeremiah Cochran. And I was like, it was the middle of it's like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Gotcha.
And I said, yes, sir. He said, get back on the other side of that cable. If I see you on this side of the cable again, you will be locked up. I can't remember what he said, but he called me by name. And the only thing I can figure is he must have seen, he must have run those guys the security that works at the nuclear station. They must have some pretty high level clearances, because I mean, he had, because I wasn't there very long and he knew who I was.
So, I don't know if you fished the bank out there, but the very back corner, there used to be a very good topwater bite, usually at sunrise or in the morning when you get in there. And one of my, we'll call them BLET brothers, my boot camp brothers there, he actually got a job there and was one of the security guards for, I'd say 2 years. But they had like 6-month rotations or 4-month rotations. They'll go there, somewhere else, and come back. And he was actually able to sneak me in there a couple times at night and let me fish. So it was a good time. It was a rare moment, but I'm gonna tell you what, man, that dang topwater bite at night, holy shit, it was amazing out there.
That's what got me hooked, is that topwater bite on Lake Norman at night is what got me hooked on striper fishing. Now this guy says, Damn Riverboy says, the only time I ever had an issue with fishing game is when the weather is too bad for everybody else to be out there, and I'm the only one out on the water, so they need to try and get a donation. Now, I have always experienced the exact opposite of that.
Well,
actually,
when it's bad weather, DNR is not out there.
I will purposefully go fishing when it's bad weather just to avoid DNR. I used to, back when I was running dirty. I would make sure if I was illegal, if I didn't have my boat registration up to date or whatever, anything, I made sure I went.
Both NC and South Carolina that they would rather chase turkey hunters in the spring than fishermen.
Well, that's the problem, is they'll mistake fishermen for turkey hunters. That's the exact that happened to me on Lake Norman when I got that ticket for cutting a crappie up. Those game wardens were in a center console John boat up there for duck hunters. And my boat just happened to look like something that you would duck hunt out of. And yeah, man, they burned me a new one. They were horrible. They interrogated the shit out of me.
Was it by chance? So one game wardens that used to work Norman a lot, all the time, he actually got fired for things I won't say on air. I knew of him, and a lot of guys around here know of him. But his name was Tracy Dula. He's a big black guy.
No, these were two white dudes.
Gotcha. Everyone knows him, knew him by name down in Lake Norman because they seen him like, oh, the game warden's coming, But yeah, I mean, he was a good dude, but I heard that he got into some stuff and kind of got fired years back.
Let me tell y'all a story. Back, everybody, I don't know, how old are you, Pete?
I am almost 40.
Okay, well, about 2 weeks.
Pete's a youngin'.
It's maybe 2 or 3 weeks after 9/11. Me and my cousin, shortly after 9/11, it wasn't quite a month, we were down at Hartwell fishing. And I didn't know this, but, it was in the summertime, or the end of summer, I'm sorry. but the water was still kind of warm. So I told Chris, I said, listen, we're going to go down here to the dam, and I'm going to get on this riffraff on the right side of the dam because the water's real deep and it goes up real shallow. I said, we caught a lot of fish there. So I'm easing up, and it's dark. I can't really see a whole lot. And I'm going to say we're probably not quite half a mile from the dam. And all of a sudden, dude, fucking spotlights hit us from like 12 different directions. And I was like, what the fuck? And Chris went down. He laid down flat in the boat. He said, man, what's going on? I said, hell, I don't know. And I'm holding my hands up. And then all I heard a bullhorn was telling us to get back. We're supposed to stay 1,000 feet from the dam and blah, blah, blah. So I turned the boat around. And then all of a sudden the lights go out. And it took a minute for our eyes to adjust. And every now and then, the lights up at the top of the dam would reflect. Dude, I bet there was 15 fucking DNR boats watching that dam.
Damn.
And I guess this was shortly after 9/11. They didn't want nobody getting close to the dam. You know what I'm saying? I guess.
Oh, yeah.
For whatever. Dude, that scared the fuck out of me.
9/11 changed
everywhere, dude.
Changed everything. Yeah.
Sure did. Can't go to dams anymore, or most of them no more.
Yeah, don't try to go through the lock on Santee and go up to the dam and catch bait. I almost made that mistake one time. About got locked up. About got shot. The guy working the dam, he said, "You're lucky you didn't get shot."
You tried going after 9/11?
Yeah, I mean, it was like a year ago. Yeah, I got lowered down the lock. I can't remember who I was with. But anyways,
Well, you can still go through the lock.
No, you can go through the lock, but you know how you get lower down into the river there. And I was going to come back around and come up to the tail race and throw the net and catch some bait.
Oh, no, you can't go in that area no more.
No, definitely not, man.
I thought they had that last time I was down there. They had it roped off. Did you try to go under the buoys?
Man, I don't know. I don't remember. But I was going up there to catch some bait, and they lectured me like I was a 9-year-old girl.
Jeremiah Cochran.
Yeah, they were like, "Hey," it was like, "Get the." We turned around. I was like, well, that's the only reason we come down here. So we went right back in the lock and we went back up, and the guy came out and he was like, man, you're lucky you didn't get a shot. And I was like, yeah, well, hey, I'm just trying to catch some bait, brother. Cut me some slack here.
Well, guys, here's what I'm using now. Well, Rusty told me to use this app. And I don't know if y'all have ever heard of it. It's called Fish Rules.
OnlyFans, what?
Fish Rules.
OnlyFans?
Fish Rules, okay.
Fish Rules. And he said every time, he said, before you go offshore, he said, when you're thinking about why you got a signal, he said, just refresh the page one time. and then once you refresh it, even when you get offshore, you don't have to have signal. You can check anything, any fish out there while you're on the boat. So
yeah, I pretty much got all my fish memorized. The only thing that I don't know is which sharks can you keep or not keep. And to be quite honest, I could care less about a damn shark. So
apparently, you can keep a tiger shark. One tiger shark.
We discussed that in a show here some time ago, didn't we?
Yeah, because I'm talking, you can keep like 1,000-pound freaking tiger shark, like a giant, majestic.
Yeah.
Could you imagine pulling up to the dock with 1,000-pound tiger shark in tow? Like the amount of
in the boat somehow.
While we're talking about regulations, Pete, what was the deal? I think Rusty kind of touched on it last time he was on the show, and you could tell he was kind of hot about it. Was the way they're doing snapper out of South Carolina. You can keep. There's something about federal. South Carolina says you can catch them this size and keep them, but they know that you have to be in federal water to catch one at all, to even catch a snapper.
Because everyone knows that you can't catch snapper inside a 3-mile line. You can't. They're all out there. We'll say 10 miles and beyond. So, everyone's pissed off at the whole closure of the season. And actually, I got a voluntary survey.
So my question is, okay, Pete, so you go offshore, we catch a snapper, we say, hey, fuck it, we're going to take our chances. Okay, we keep it. If we make it back to South Carolina water, are we still legal?
Well, you
South
are.
Carolina says we can keep it.
Correct, but they know damn well you're not catching that thing inside 3 miles. They know
why
there's
did
no
they
way
even
they
make that law? So why did they even make
because the
that
state
law?
is pissed off at the feds for being stupid with that law. So that's the state's way of saying, hey, we're going to pass our own law, even though it's impossible that you can catch one in our waters. But this is us telling you that, hey, you need to fucking change your shit because it's unreal. It's ridiculous.
And there's so many snapper out there now.
So who do you guys agree with, state or federal? on that
I mean,
issue.
you got to follow the feds, unfortunately, because those red snapper aren't going to come in state waters.
But I think that would be pretty easy to beat in court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Because,
the
let's
thing
look at it
is,
like
though,
this though.
this
Is
is
there
here.
I
anything-
caught that thing. It was a freak. It was a freak of nature. It was at 2.99 miles. And yeah.
Is there? But listen,
I
is
think
there
it's-
anything in saltwater? Think about this though, and there again, I wish the state would fucking get completely out of it and just leave it to federal, and then we could have one person, we have one organization, or one or whatever you want to call it, that we have to worry about.
Well, the reason you can't do that, go ahead, finish. I'm sorry.
But what I'm saying is, I think that other than a Spanish mackerel or maybe a shark, what the fuck is worth even catching within 3 miles off of our coast? Not a damn thing. No.
Flounder, and you can't keep those damn things in NC water right now.
Kings,
And that's another thing. If I'm
Spanish.
going out of Little River Inlet, okay, you can't keep a flounder at all in North Carolina.
Let me
But you
tell you
can
this.
get South
So there's a reason why I bought the boat that I have down the beach. Everyone's like, yeah, get a boat with 2 motors, 3 motors. Now 3 motors out the picture for me. I can't do it. But I considered a boat with 2 motors. But it's like this, our fishery is getting so restricted year after year after year that it's getting to the point that there is no point of even having a bigger boat.
But like, okay, say I'm going out. Say you're going out of Little River Inlet, right?
Yep.
Okay. Say the guys from North Carolina want to come to South Carolina and catch them a flounder. They caught that flounder legally, but they've got to go back into North Carolina to get their boat back to port. What do they do? How do they get
A
around
lot of
that?
these guys tow their boat to SC and use the ramps there.
You do what now?
A lot of guys tow their boats all the way to Myrtle Beach and
Yeah, you have
use
to
the ramp.
abide by. I mean, it's the same exact thing on Lake Wiley. If you trailer your boat down to the Bustaboyd and you put it in South Carolina, but you go to North Carolina, you catch your fish. When you come back to trailer your boat in South Carolina, your fish better meet South Carolina regulations, or you're going to jail unless you can pay the fine on the spot.
Well, so what I'm saying is, so a North Carolina fisherman, even though his boat's registered in North Carolina,
Doesn't
he can
matter.
come down and he's got a South Carolina license. He can come catch flounder.
Yeah.
As long as he catches it in South Carolina and goes back. Now, there again, what if he caught one in South Carolina and goes 20 feet and gets back on the other side of the inlet? He's back in South Carolina.
If you're in that state, you better meet the regulations, no matter
Well,
where your
where's that
boat's
line?
registered.
Pete, when you going out of Little River, where's that line at? Right down the center of the inlet?
Literally right down the center. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just,
It's
I
just
don't keep
complicated
a lot of
mess. It really
fish.
is.
I don't keep a lot of
In
fish, but I
hindsight,
like
you got
to
to ask
like
yourself this: is a fish fucking worth it?
Exactly.
You know,
Black sea bass are, I'm telling you, that's the most, JR, that's the most amazing fish I've eaten wahoo. Wahoo's good, but if you said a wahoo beside a black sea bass, I just have to,
damn,
everybody's got different taste. I
damn.
like the black sea bass.
If you like
Ain't
black
coming up
sea
my damn
bass,
boat no more. No, I'm just
the closest thing you're going to get to that freshwater is going to be a walleye.
Yeah.
They taste similar. They have that.
I'll
that-
definitely
that-
say black sea bass is up there.
It's up there.
You guys
That
haven't
group-
tried it, but African pompano is pretty damn good too. And
Never
it's
tried an African pompano before.
pretty damn good. It's really good.
I tell you, grouper's hard to beat though.
Oh yeah, well groupers better than black bass or African pompano.
I don't know.
I don't know. I would say that a black bass is better than a grouper, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they are.
I
I
don't
think
think so.
Problem is, though, the black bass, if you get one that's 18, 20 inches, a real good one, now you can kind of compare that to a grouper because now you can do more with it versus just fry it. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
Now, JR, the ones are, and Pete, the ones that we caught like 11 or 12, that most of the ones, they had like blue at the top of their fins and they had a big ass knot on their head.
Knot heads.
So what I was reading was that means that they're fixing to spawn. That's the ones, that's when they're spawning.
Yep. That's what I've heard as well. But, we talked about this on the phone there, but you hear the old phraseology, we caught a bunch of big knot heads, and that's exactly what that is. Big old, got that big old knot in the top of the head.
I know,
How
like
long do you reckon them fish will stay out there?
All year long, honestly.
But I meant the big ones.
The big ones, they'll probably be gone here very soon.
Now the big ones are you catching the knot heads? Are you catching small knot heads or is
No, big ones.
they only get that knot when they get big?
Yeah, when they're going to spawn, they turn blue.
Because that's
Yeah,
the way
what
the
I'm doing.
Arkansas Blues are.
Yeah.
They get that.
Well, Wes, I'll
hump
tell you,
back.
so I do fish the area a lot in June. A lot of times they'll run offshore and fish for mahi and whatever else. And if my crew wants sea bass, we will stop there as well. But in June, we don't get. It's not like you're experiencing now. We'll go there, and for every 5 or 8 we catch, one might be a keeper. Or there'll be a bunch they'll be like 13.5 inches, barely keepers. But they'll be out there all year long. Just the big
You know what
ones.
would be cool? You know what would be cool, Peter?
What's
Since
that?
you're a guide, it would be cool if you got a client that came up to you and said, "Hi, my name is John Doe. And I know that you catch these little peckerheads for most of your clients, and I know that most people just like to go hybrid fishing and go out and catch black sea bass in saltwater, etc. But what I want to do is I want to catch an exotic trophy flathead catfish, and I want you to put all your resources into targeting and catching a 40+ pound flathead catfish.
Easy
That would be epic." Is to
Easy
see
button.
you actually try to do that.
I can do it. I just don't care to do it, but I can do it.
Man, oh my God, dude.
Certain time of year I can do it. Certain time of year.
I've never understood why
Do
people
it.
purposely catfish.
Shut up. It's
I
because
agree.
they're awesome. That's
I agree
why.
with. No, hey, JR, in all seriousness, I do have one guy that wants to catfish, once a year usually. And it seems like May is when we do it. And we go to the baiting dam and just drop live bait there. We catch good flatheads, blues, the whole works practically. But
I would
that
want
time
to
of
go
year-
on a trip and I would want to target just one big flathead. I'm
Uh-huh.
talking about big. I'm talking about, a 40.
come on, let's do it. I'll bring it down Zepco 33, 6-pound test lines. All you fucking need. All you need.
I mean,
All right, guys,
In some current too. In current.
I got a question. I want to tell y'all something. My question is, Pete, when did the mahi show up, and how close do they usually come in?
Every year's different with the mahi. Every year. As far as how
Wes,
close they come in.
if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. Don't listen to what anybody says. Go to Hatteras in May. You will not regret it. It will be bull after bull after bull. You'll be so tired from catching trophy-sized Dorado that you'll never want to see another Dorado.
And it's got to be May because the later you get, the smaller they get. They'll be there all year long, but the size will drop off big time.
Yeah, you can't wait till
Where's
June
this at
1st.
Cape Hatteras? Where's that?
Google.
It's north of you.
North.
It's gonna be a long. Hey, I'm gonna tell you in all seriousness, it's a long fucking drive.
That's right. I'd have to trailer.
It's a long fucking drive.
Yeah,
Long drive.
it's just not that. It's 7 hours. It's not that bad.
It's a long drive.
6 or 7 hours. It's not bad.
Well, my
Shit,
second
for me here near Charlotte, it's better than a 7-hour drive. So whatever it takes you to get to Charlotte, add that.
Hey, you're in the Gulf Stream in 15 miles. You're in the
Sure.
Gulf Stream.
That
Wes.
that is true, yes. And also you got variety that time of year too. You catch marlin, sailfish.
Oh my God, yeah, it's epic.
So, anyways, backtracking to Wes's question here. When do the mahi start showing up? Well, I have seen a couple of reports of a mahi or two being caught last week down towards the Scarp and further south. So there's a few starting to show up. When do they typically start being caught? Right about now. Okay, one here, one there. But they don't really roll in pretty good until I'd say mid-April, give or take. But usually, about mid-April, late April, that's when it starts getting good. And then May gets very good. When do they come inshore? Well, every year is different. The last couple of years, they have not come inshore. Usually by around the 1st of June, they start pushing inshore some. But the last couple of years, I have not seen very many inshore at all.
Now, is the king fishing good right now? Say around the shark hole or
Zero. None.
nothing?
Zero.
And you have to base a lot of this on the moon. Like Pete's talking about the Dorado coming in toward the middle to late April. Look at when your next peak moon is going to be. Your next peak moon is going to be a full moon, and it's going to be around 2 weeks from now. So it'll be the peak moon after that is when you should probably go for the Dorado.
Well, listen, I want to tell y'all, Lori, I don't know what made, I don't know how she found this, but I don't know if y'all have heard. A satellite spotted this before anybody else did. They have got I don't know what you would call it, a bloom, sargassum bloom that is over 5,000 miles wide. And I forgot how many thousands of miles long.
God, I bet the fishing is phenomenal.
No, actually, it's killing fish.
Is it?
It's coming in. The tip of it's going to be around Jacksonville, Florida, and it's going to wind up all the way down around the Caribbean.
So let me tell you this. So I've been doing a lot of flying up and down the coast the last month and a half.
Have you seen it?
I've actually, in the last week, I am starting to see a lot of sargassum up high, but everything I'm seeing, I'm gonna call bullshit on that. And I saw that news report that Lori saw, but I have not seen anything like that. However, I am starting to see a lot of grass down towards South Florida, Miami, and further south towards the islands.
Does that have anything to do with that? What they call the from all of the toxins from people's fertilizers and stuff? What do they call it? The red?
I don't think so, man. It's a thing that happens every year. I mean, I've seen it every year. This time of year, it all starts coming to the surface and then washing up the beach and onshore everywhere. And the last several years, Puerto Rico, for example, I spent a lot of time there, and it's always like right now, it's all washing ashore there, and for some reason now they're making a big deal. I think it might be a little more than usual right now, but according to the news report, they say it might be because of these strong hurricanes coming through the last couple of years are upwelling, which I call bullshit on that as well. But I am starting to see a lot down towards the Gulf of Mexico and South Florida, North Cuba, that area there. So it's definitely coming up north now.
Now, what is it, Pete? They say when it starts bunching up, getting closer to shore, it gives off some kind of gas that can actually kill you.
It's just like anything else. And when it's rotting, it smells like fucking raw eggs, So
and they say it actually sucks the oxygen out of the water, and they're expecting a lot of fish kills.
I don't know about all that. I really don't.
Well, any vegetation, will rob the water of oxygen, right?
But keep in mind, though, this stuff is always moving. It's not like anchored in one little area. So it's where you see it, wherever the wind's pushing it and the currents are taking it, that's where it's going.
So it's not 5,000 miles wide. Like they said, it was spotted from a satellite.
It may have been. When I say 5,000 miles wide, I guarantee you it's not a solid line. I bet you it's scattered grass here and there.
Oh, okay.
But I saw last year, for example, I've seen, I got pictures on my phone of some of these lines that I've took, but I saw some lines that might have been 40 miles long, Sit your ass down. He's trying to get comfortable here. But, I've seen lines 40 miles long, I mean, it's out there every year.
Well,
been a good one, hasn't it, Wes?
Where's the Brady Bunch today? I didn't see Scott Perry or some of the other typical shit talkers today.
Have you seen Scott Perry's house and his grass and everything lately? You're not seeing him because that son bitch is working. He's got to pay for all that shit.
About damn time, huh?
You ought to look at my yard. It looks like I got a nice house, but my yard looks like I live in a trailer park.
I never understood the whole yard thing.
I've been hitting mine pretty hard here lately, and the cold happened. But I'm actually spreading some more shit tomorrow morning at sunrise.
I could give two fucks about having manicured grass and perfect shrubs, and who gives a damn?
Where's Lori at? Where's Lori at?
Then manicure some shrubs and cut some damn grass and make sure it only stays 2.5 inches high.
It's all I can do to get the trash out on the side of the road when the trash runs.
Dude, hey, here's when I cut my grass. When my little dog Lexi, when she goes outside and I can't see her, I cut my grass.
All right, guys. Well, it's been a good show.
Here in about 2 or 3 weeks, if we can get offshore, you ain't never been on my boat. You need to come get on my boat.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm actually, so I got my April schedule. I plan on fishing a lot in April, but I got a little block of time. And it's Easter weekend. I do plan on picking up overtime during that time frame. There might be some heavy numbers thrown out by work there to cover some stuff there. But hold that thought here real quick. I'm gonna give you a timeline here.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. River Boys, Red Tide.
I thought they called it red. Hey, baby, what was that term they used in that article? You had red bloom. Red bloom.
Red Tide, I think the same thing. So the 18th through the 21st, I'll be off. And then again, the 24th all the way through the 27th, I'll be off. So I have several windows
April.
to go in April. Yep.
Well, let's make it happen. I'd like to take you on my boat.
All right.
Where are we going? Lake Wiley?
Shit. Ain't no damn. We ain't going for some no fucking catfish. Come on
Oh
there.
my God.
Yeah.
You guys are such flamboyant.
How about you quit catfishing and went bass fishing
You
there?
are the
Yeah, I
metrosexuals.
know, right? I thought you was a bosser now, JR.
Yeah.
Metrosexuals of fishing is what you guys are.
Get you a glitter boat. Come on.
Yeah, put you some pretty carpet on it. Get up there and cast and get you a 3-pound fish and hold it up like you're
Man,
doing
I
something.
can't afford a
Not even
bass
2
boat.
pounds.
If you priced bass boats, like I could sell my boat for like $7,000. And what am I gonna get? What kind of bass boat am I gonna get for $7,000? It's
Bass
gonna,
tracker, baby.
oh my God, it's gonna look like shit. Nah, so, nah, I'm not gonna do that.
Get that bass tracker, man. Come on, you know.
Mm-mm. I mean, now if I wanted to get into bass fishing, I would just utilize my kayak because kayak bass fishing is pretty big industry.
Hello, Wes. I see you typing over there. Look at you.
Ah, boys, I'm gonna go in here. Listen, y'all pray for Copper because tonight is his last night as a full man.
He's gonna hate you guys. I'm telling you.
Wow, Wes is ending it on time. That's insane.
I know,
Well,
right?
I got to get up in the morning. I got to have my boy he's got to be at the hospital at 8:00 in the morning.
8:00. Oh, you're good till like at least 2 a.m.
Oh, bless his heart.
Riggs says, "Good luck, Copper."
Riggs, what are you doing, buddy?
Who's that?
Look at it.
Who's it?
Okay, Pete, I like that video. You just put what was that? Some kind of, was that amberjack
Yeah,
that you was showing him? What
Yeah.
did you see him, JR?
Yeah.
yeah. That's Amberjack from our trip, by the way.
Mhm.
Really?
Feeding him
Who
my
likes it on
amberjack.
Yep. The worms I threw out is all Amberjack with no worms.
Uh-huh.
He's still eating on those dang 3 fish. Seriously.
Really?
Oh yeah.
My dog could tell you before he died, I would clean fish, striper, offshore when I'd go out. Anytime I'd go fishing, whatever, I would give him different kinds of fish, and if he would eat it, then it was a good fish.
Uh-huh. So there's only one fish or should I say 2 really, that he will go crazy for on the deck of the boat: white perch and white bass. For some reason, he don't want to touch a crappie at all, or a brim, or none of that stuff at all. But you throw a white perch on the deck of the boat, he will dang jump up mid nap and everything, and then chase that thing down. And now he's playing keep away from you.
Ah, he knows that fish is in the Marone family.
Yeah, I guess so, huh?
It's good eating.
Yep. And then I can fillet it at the house, and he will eat the fillets. But the crappie, for some reason, he just don't want crappie at all.
So, JR, you want to try to plan to go out with us if we can get out one day in April?
I don't know. Maybe April 8th is my birthday. So maybe.
Hush. No.
Let me know what date, and I will. I'll put in for it, and we'll see what happens.
Well, it's kind of there again, JR. It might be kind of close because we have to go by the weather, and I don't want to tell you 2 weeks ahead of time or a week ahead of time, and then it blow.
Just so you guys know in advance, April 8th is closing in on Easter weekend, so it's timing wise.
That's my birthday.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I'll
Been a
tell
good
you,
one.
I enjoyed that. I mean, even if we have to do a turn and burn, I don't mind doing that as long as I got somebody to help me drive.
Well, Wes knows how to speak my language, don't he?
You call it turn and burn. You know what I call it? I call it a fucking Iron Man.
Ooh, it's
Iron
rough.
Man trip.
There you go.
Hey, Pete, let me tell you what happened.
Oh, hell. Got him
We're
going.
coming, that night that we're fishing, we come up there to fish with you.
Uh-huh.
We're coming back home, right? And we're behind these fucking hillbillies. And they're pulling a John boat on a trailer that's got ratchet straps on it. The trailer's got like 13-inch tires, and they're going 50 miles an hour in the
Yeah.
down fast
And
lane.
they're in a full size Chevy, squatted,
Full size truck,
squatted. By the way,
squatted. I don't know
South
what they had in the
Carolina
bed of it.
special. That's y'all South Carolina shit.
Motherfucker, we were still in North Carolina when that happened.
Yeah.
So,
Sound like some damn
anyway,
Laurenberg shit. Anyways, keep on going.
So we're driving, right? And I stayed behind him. I couldn't get over. Every time they'd have a chance to get over, another car would come. So I put my lights on bright and flashed him a few times.
Flash them. Yeah, he hit him with the
Just
he
let him
flashed
know I
him
wanted
with
to
the
get
bright.
over. So I start to go around him. As soon as I did, he tried to speed up. So you know what I did? I
What's
put
that?
his fucking ass in the median over on the left side in the grass.
Nice.
And then he actually tried to speed up. Dude, you could see grass and shit flying. And JR said, check him out. So
Yeah. This son of a
He
gun
tried-
went
he thought he
off
was
the,
gonna outrun me.
highway
yeah.
into the grass median.
Towing
I'm
a boat
talking
now?
pedal to the floor now. Brrr, like this, it had a 5.3, probably a LS 5.3 in it. It was a V8, and yeah, he had it to the floor. But Wes has got that for 6.2 Godzilla motor in his truck, and there's no keeping up with that. Yeah, but this guy's trying to he was planning on
He
passing
was
us.
going to
over
pass
in the
us again,
grass.
but he went over in the left in the grass,
Yeah.
throwing up grass, slide. And JR said, you let him back in. I said, fuck him. I ain't letting him in. He can slow down and get behind us. And he was trying to outrun me over there in that grass. And I just stayed right beside him. And he finally got to him and backed off and got back on the road. And all
So
I
he got
did
the
was
point.
flash my lights at him to let him know that I was behind him. I'm trying to get, motherfucker, you're going 50 miles an hour in the fast lane on a 6-lane interstate.
And not just momentarily either. I'm talking about this. He was in the fast lane blocking us because there was another car in the slow lane and we couldn't get around. And I'm talking for like 15 minutes went by, and he's staying steady, right there with the guy in the slow lane, and we just can't get by. So finally, Wes hit flashers a couple times, flashed his brights a couple times. Then he brake checked us. That's what happened, Wes, is he brake checked us. So when he brake checked us, it allowed the car that he was riding beside of in the slow lane to get a little bit ahead. So when he brake checked us, Wes went over to the right lane and put the hammer down. And thank God he was in that brand new truck with that 6.2 Camaro Super Sport motor in it. Because we went woo, and we went around him. And when we got around him, it wasn't 3 seconds later. We look over and he's over in the grass trying to pass us. So Wes kicks it again and makes him fall back in. And then he tries to throw his brights on us. And Wes is like, Wes is getting ready to slow down and like confront the dude. And I'm like, dude, no, go. What are you doing? You're going to get you just crush these guys. They'll probably shoot us now. We got to go, bro.
That was crazy. I've never seen nobody do some stupid shit like that in a vehicle.
Yeah,
While they're pulling a boat, and that poor boat, I was looking in my rear view mirror, it was just bouncing around. I don't know how it stayed hooked up to his truck.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so I used to make that dang trip weekly almost way back when. I say mid 2000s, I guess, back when I was young and dumb. Still am old and dumb, but no story. I seen some damn crazy shit in that stretch of road. Holy smokes.
During the day,
every damn speeding ticket ever got, by the way, was on that stretch of road too.
During the day, I'm riding around, and I'm thinking about fishing. I'll be sitting here at the house and I'll watch a video. I'll watch some Wicked Tuna or get on YouTube and just watch a video about fishing. Then I get out my Garmin and I'm looking at where I might want to fish, and I feel good. Goddamn, when 4 o'clock rolls around in the morning, it's time to get out of bed, and I'm like, damn, boy, do I really want to go that far? Do I really want to do this? I'll go ahead and get out of the bed. I'll get ready to get offshore, or we didn't really go, but I still, I had to run almost 60 miles. Me and Lori run 60 miles to the tower from where where my boat is.
Yeah.
Actually, it's 61 miles from Cricket Cove Marina.
Hold a thought, by the way. Some little birdie told me that someone forgot to get fuel the night before.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
Listen, here, AJR, I'm taking the boat down there, right? So I said, well, before I put it in the water, I'm going to fill it up with fuel for $3 a gallon instead of $4.65 a gallon. So, I got to the marina, and they set the boat off the water. Didn't think nothing else about it. And that night, afternoon, about 4:30, I looked at her. I said, baby, I said, I forgot to get on gas. And the marina closed at 4 o'clock. So I said, oh, hell, here we go. So I called Keith and asked him. And now that place, you know where Crab Catchers is, Pete?
I'm not too terribly familiar with that area there.
But you come out of my marina and go down on the left, it's about a half a mile down there in the no wait zone, where a lot of commercial boats are. Well, Wade Long's got he's got a pump there, but he just sells to commercial fishermen. But Anson talked to him, and he said if I wanted to set up an account, he said what he'd do, he'd give me a PIN number, and if I ever need gas, I just go put the PIN number in it, and it charges my account. But Keith said, Wes, he said, I got 5. He said, I've got 5 gas jugs you can borrow. 3 of them's got gas in them. If you just want to pay me for that gas, if you want to fill up. And I said, buddy, I said, I've got a quarter tank of gas in my boat. I said, I'd have to do that trip like 15 fucking times and then come back to your house. And I said, I'm not going to do it. So I called Matt, and this is how they treat you at Cricket Cove Marina. Matt met me there at 15 after 6. He's not supposed to be there till 9 o'clock. Just to let me get gas. But he said, Wes, it kind of worked out too. It means I can get off early. They did meet me there early so I could get some gas. And I gave him a little bit of money for getting out of bed that early. But yeah, I just forgot.
I'm starting to think about, so I have 3 5-gallon gas jugs. And I think I'm going to try to get 3 more because the marina gas at my marina there is just a complete fucking ripoff. And
how much are they
I'm getting to the point now, I'm actually looking inside the damn road because, a lot of times you'll see 5-gallon gas jugs sitting there on the side of the road. So I'm starting to keep my eye out. I'm like, you know what? If I see one, I'm going to scoop it up. But, 2 months later, I hadn't seen a single one since.
How much are they charging you now, Pete? Do you know what yours is?
$5.50.
Oh, mine was $4.16. No, yeah. I'm sorry, $4.61.
And so that's $5.50. That was the last time I was there. So it's probably still the same. Maybe we'll say maybe 20 cents.
Just to let everybody know, I'm digging in my couch trying to find money to go kayak fish on Wiley, and these guys are filling up 100-gallon boats.
Hey, that's why I got
$6 a gallon.
That's why I got 3 guys joining me because a lot of times it split up a lot better. Ain't no way.
You know what it cost me, Lori? You know what it cost me and Lori to go to the tower and back?
Oh, it's a long run. So, let me guess.
$75 in fuel.
How much?
$4.75.
Shit, it costs us over $500 to go fish that one day. Remember?
You know what?
Yeah.
That's insane. It costs less than that. My boat gets 1 mile to the gallon, and it costs less than that for me to go. There's 35 miles out there, straight shot out of Southport.
Out of Southport.
70-mile round trip. Gas is $3 a gallon to $200.
Well, JR, I'm coming from Little River, and I've got 2.5 miles of inlet, and then I'm still 60.
Well, you need to come off the throttle a little bit or something. You got to.
No, hey, my Suzuki's, they're 140s. The 140 Suzuki is the most fuel efficient motor Suzuki's got. In the 100+ horsepower range.
Not only that, it's also the most horsepower to ratio. It's the best horsepower to ratio.
Horsepower to ratio, yeah. But I'm running there again 2 motors, 145-gallon fuel tank.
Yeah.
But there again,
it's too rich for my blood. That's why I don't do that shit. That's why I'm down here catching fucking channel cats on Lake Wiley.
With 6-pound line, right?
I'm having just as much fun, though, is my point.
No, I don't think so. But Joe, when I ask you to go fishing, have I ever charged you anything? You're my video man.
I'm gonna tell you what,
I'll give you a little
the times I've seen JR on video with you or on my boat that one time, there's a different dang fire in his damn eyes than when we see him fucking catfishing.
They are.
In Lake Wiley. Isn't there not? Come on now. Come on.
Oh, it's getting deep. All right, guys. Well, hey, it's been a good show. We're
getting soft on him. He wants to terminate the show now. You see that?
We took it over 18 minutes. So,
but hey, guys, seriously, we'll try to get together in April. Maybe what do you say, Pete? Sometime shortly after, maybe after Easter.
Get that spillway up on South Fork.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Hold on. It depends on where the fish are. We can take Pete's boat again, or we can take my boat. It don't matter.
I don't mind. We can jump in my boat. It's fine.
Oh, North Carolina versus South Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you want to go out to the ledge or maybe go down to McMarlin around Georgetown Hole.
Listen, I say if we're going to do it, let's do it, man. Screw these little sea bass. Let's go out and let's spend the night in in the Gulf,
Hey,
in the Gulf
Hey,
Stream.
come June, July, August, September, you're gonna see a different me as far as fishing out there because I'm gonna be serious with this whole bottom fishing thing and grouper and that kind of stuff. So that's
We
my jam.
really could. We could spend the night on my boat.
Let's
that's
spend the night. Let's go to the Gulf Stream and spend the night.
That's been my game for a long time, and I've kind of been away from it for a long time. So
And you can ask JR, my boat sleeps real good.
We'll put a blue light out, man, and we'll just we'll sleep in shifts. And
oh yeah,
oh man,
heck yeah,
it'd be epic.
heck
All right,
yeah.
guys.
JR,
good
you
night.
know you like me. I won't be able to sleep. I try to be up all night just waiting to find some shit. We won't be able to sleep.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. We might have to invest in a little. I don't know, a little.
I'll tell you
powder.
one thing though, we'll need more than one fucking bag of ice. That's a guarantee.
We'll have to get
Yep.
something. We'll have to get some Pez dispensers or something.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Y'all
right.
have a good night. We'll try to make something happen.
Good night.
Good
See you guys
luck,
next week.
Popper. See
Thanks
ya.
for coming by.
Later.